What up, gentlemen? Let me get a bottle of water and we will start. All right. What is going on, MJ? What is going on, Bob? Bob, I hope your rehab is going well, man. I hope you are home. Hopefully you're home by now. I know that you were working towards that. I've been definitely keeping you in my prayers, hoping that everything turns out well for you, brother. Let's get started. What is going on, Vikings fans? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, aka Mr. Purple and Gold Bars, at your service. We're back at it with another game preview. Today it's Lions versus Vikings. We're going to be going over a little bit of the breakdown between the situation for each team, our Vikings as well as the Lions, as well as give you my thoughts on how we can win the game, even though I feel like it is a possibility, not a probability. And then I'll finish off with a nice score prediction for you guys. But man, I hope that I'm wrong, but I live and die by the sword of probabilities here. So hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining me. And we are on the road to 500 subscribers. So I do thank you for hitting that like and subscribe. And let's get the show intro going. What is going on, guys? Let me see. Are we centered? I think we're centered. Sometimes my webcam kind of like shifts on me a little bit. Can you guys see Michael? Can you guys see MJ? Brady? Oh, you guys can't see Sid the Kid and Ovechkin, but he's right there. They're right there. We got Justin Jefferson in the background here, guys. What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over the game preview here. As you guys know, we got the 3-4 Vikings going to Detroit Ford Field, facing the 5-2 Lions. The Lions are favored by 8.5 points, and I don't blame Vegas to putting that there. That's a good representation of what our team has been performing so far in a year that I expected a lot of struggle. The over-under on points is 48.5, and the game is Sunday at 1 p.m. Now, let's start with the Minnesota Vikings. You know, JJ is back, finally. We have a healthy JJ, and we have a healthy Max Brosmer. This is the team that we wanted to see from the very beginning and what I anticipated, because Carson Wentz got signed literally like right before the season started. So when I did my preview for the season, I expected these two guys being the two guys going forward. So I'm finally happy to see our two guys that are going to be hopefully hand in hand for the next couple of years as they grow together, as they become a great franchise quarterback and a great backup quarterback for our Minnesota Vikings. So it's an exciting week for me. So it's awesome to see. Now, we know that the offense has struggled all season, you know, regardless of who's been under center, and that's been due to the injuries to the O-line. We can definitely account for that. I know a little bit of struggle with Carson Wentz because, you know, when you got a career backup, a QB2 starting games, it's not going to be as polished, or we're not going to be able to get the play that we wanted to. So that's also played a small factor. Although big ups to Carson Wentz, he's got definitely has earned a spot in my heart as a Vikings fan. I totally respect him putting his health on the line and doing everything that he could to get us to this point, because without him being committed and acknowledging that was the path that needed to be in front of him, and basically taking all the brunt of the animosity, it was incredible to see. So big ups, Carson Wentz. You have all my respect, and I hope you have a speedy recovery. Now, I've seen a lot of people also being concerned with Brian Flores' defense, saying things like they're being exposed or they're only good against young quarterbacks. Reality is that when you have a bend not break defense like we do, it breaks easily when the offense doesn't give them ample time to rest. So that's been a massive factor all season. We've seen them fall apart late in games. We've seen them hold teams like the Falcons to 15 points up until 3 minutes and 31 seconds of the game, which is a massive defensive performance. We've also seen massive defensive performances against the Bengals and totally destroying that team with turnovers and just a lot of great defensive play. We saw them take a bunch of drives down in the first half against these Eagles, making them look like really inept at times. I think it was 3, maybe 4 consecutive drives where this defense was all over Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. So we've seen a lot of great things from our defense, and we've also seen them struggle at times. Last week was definitely a game where it was really rough all the way around, and I totally anticipated really bad games like that. I also anticipated good games, mind you, not for the reasons of having a whole bunch of injuries, because I just assumed we'd have too much growing pains from JJ McCarthy would lead to a bunch of weird games. But that's not been the case. So we're now going to get into that. We have to watch how JJ adapts. Let's not forget, rookies are supposed to be rookies. They're supposed to look overwhelmed at times. They're going to throw interceptions. They're going to make bad decisions, miss out on audibling at the right times, forget to set up the proper pass protections, and just look all around flustered. But like we do expect from rookies, they are going to show some flashes, giving us some hope of what's to come. And let's be real, the first flash that we saw from JJ McCarthy was a historic one. So I feel like, if anything, that should definitely soothe some of the Vikings woes or fan based woes, but not everybody is as resolute, faithful, objective, and really locked into reality like I am. So I don't blame anybody for having high expectations on for a season that in my opinion we shouldn't have had anything but patience. But when we're talking about injuries, Christian Darrisaw was a full participant. He is expected to play. Brian O'Neill was limited. He could return. Andrew Van Ginkel was a full participant, and it looks like he's definitely going to be starting, so it's going to be a big boost to this defense. Jonathan Grenard and Isaiah Rodgers were limited. I know Jeff Okuda's out with a concussion, so we're still dealing with a lot of injuries, which is going to make things extremely tough for us. Like I was saying, that JJ McCarthy is still raw. He's adjusting to the NFL speed, and he's expected to look like a rookie, right? And so, like I've been saying, don't expect more than flashes among a ton of growing pains from the young man. And that first flash that he showed, ooh, was it ever beautiful. Man, those Bears fans are still kicking themselves in the butt thinking, what happened there? How did we fall apart? Well, sometimes when you have the will to win, you come up with some big plays. And JJ McCarthy did a lot in that fourth quarter that I'm very happy. And going forward, I'm hoping to see a lot more progress in year 2 as he takes that year 2 step. But for this season, I want to see him start to go from flustered and struggling to more and more as the games go by, looking more like a serviceable quarterback. I expect him to, between year 1 and 2, develop into just a really good game manager, because the roster is going to be doing the majority of the work. And then going forward after that, we'll see how the experience and the development pushes him to his potential or his ceiling, whatever that is, Maybe he hits a ceiling, or maybe he realizes his potential. It's yet to be seen. But patience is a virtue, guys, and patience is all we should have, not expectations. Our offensive line health has been a massive factor to our offense's inconsistency this season. Now, sometimes we've only had one starter playing, and we've even had to move guys that have never even played center to play center against the best defense in the league. And Blake Brandel did a pretty good job, and he's also shown some growing pains because, he's not going to be perfect, especially since he is learning as he goes, right? So, but other than that, this week we could see 4, maybe 5 healthy, or close to healthy, or four of our five starters playing. So, which is really nice. And if we got four, maybe five linemen back, the offense could stabilize a little bit. Give enough time for scrambling out of the pocket, running to the outside, even getting these quick passes out as fast as possible in order to keep the offense moving and keep them on the field long enough to give our defense the much deserved rest that they need in order for them to keep us in this game. Now, when we look at the Detroit Lions, they're coming off a bye week, right? So they're looking pretty good, although they are really banged up on their secondary. You know, they just beat Tampa Bay going in before they went into the bye. They had a great pass rush and a great defensive performance, and really rattled Baker Mayfield out of his and prevented him to kind of falling into that Baker Mayfield zone that he can get into, where sometimes when he gets angry or he gets in that mood and he just gets amped up, the ball comes out quicker. He's able to be more accurate. I don't know how he does it. It's incredible to see, but they were able to freaking lock him down and make him uncomfortable and never allow him to reach that gear, which is an incredible task, especially how injured they were and having a player missing due to a suspension, right? So great job by the Lions in their last game. They are getting healthier. They are getting some players back. If I remember correctly on the injury report, I'm pretty sure Kirby Joseph is still out though, so he's one of their biggest defensive players in the secondary there. Aidan Hutchinson, congratulations, young man. Woo, third in the NFL in total pressures. Just signed a massive, massive contract. So great job for him and his family. It's great to see when players are able to earn that kind of financial freedom that their kids and their future generations are going to have. So I'm always a big fan of that. Doesn't matter what team you play for, even if it is the Dirty Lions. You know what I'm saying? So I still go back to being a football fan and look at things objectively. That's why whenever I see injuries, the first thing I think of is, man, their family watching, whether they're on the sideline or at home, and them just, having to deal with that, as well as I also think back of, man, all the hard work that they had to put in to get to the league and then to become a starter for them to suffer an injury really, really sucks. I hate injuries. I could rant on and on about injuries and how much I hate them. But yeah, so good to see him after a really bad injury last year, coming in this year, being a great defensive presence. He's been moved around quite a bit this season, creating a bunch of mismatches. So it's going to be fun to see how the game plan comes out for us to see how we handle that pressure. Now, the Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, have consistently beaten Brian Flores. His scheme and his blitz-heavy philosophy in recent matchups. But how will Goff do without Ben Johnson preparing him for B-Flow? Likely pretty good, but hopefully not too good, because that might give us a foothold, maybe even try to do the impossible. Now, it's important to go over how we could theoretically win this game, because there is a viable path for us to win it. Although I don't put it as a probability, I put it as a possibility. Now, let's go through it. Now, first and foremost, the Vikings need to dominate time of possession. If they're able to dominate the time of possession, that means that Jared Goff and the offense is not going to be able to take the field and not going to be able to run up the score, ideally keeping it a low-scoring game. They need to rely on top of that, the offense needs to rely on the quick pass game on top of the running game, since the O-line is going to need all the help they can get. Getting the ball out is going to be massive. So JJ has to adapt to the speed and be ready to get the ball out quickly and comfortably audibling out of bad situations, as well as have the right pass protections called. I know it's a tall task for a young man, a rookie, to do, but these are the things that he has to do in order for us to have a shot. Like I've been saying, since we acquired Jordan Mason, the offense needs to run through him. We need to see a lot more outside runs. We need to get a bunch of quick passes to kind of keep the defense honest in order for our run game and our quick pass game to kind of take over and dominate, hopefully keeping their defense on the field longer than ours, making it so they break instead of bending and having their way with us. Now, if they can dominate the time of possession, this will keep the defense fresh and limit the chances they will break due to being gassed. So that's a massive factor that we have seen with our Vikings defense. We are definitely a team that needs to have all three phases of football working at a high level, because as soon as one area is not working, it all falls apart. Our offense, if the defense falls apart, the offense it struggles. If the offense struggles, the defense is too gassed and they can't keep the game within reach long enough for us to actually do anything about it. So it's very crucial that all three phases of football work together. And another thing is that when the Lions are on the field, we need to have a competent run defense like they showed against the Eagles, with sound gap integrity and not letting them run to the outside of the line of scrimmage, right? So it's a big factor. We got to have those gaps secured so that Gibbs or wow, I am forgetting Knuckles' name right now. Oh my goodness, that is bad. But either way, preventing them from hitting the hole and making us pay, right? So if we can do a good job of being competent, keeping them, I'm not saying it's going to be a tall task to keep them way under 100 yards rushing. So like expecting 30, 40, 50 yards, I think is outside of the realm of probabilities as well as possibilities. But if we can keep them into that 70, 80, 90, and we can control that and make it a little bit more balanced, I think we have a shot of putting something together. And if the defense can force a fumble and a recovery as well as an interception, that can totally give us a chance to pull this out. Not only will it give us extra time of possession, as well as potentially extra points, it might even sway the momentum and maybe even demoralize them, which is a very tall task to say, especially with the confidence that this Lions squad has right now. And lastly, the Vikings need to get some great special teams play, specifically in leaving the Lions with a long field to work with. That way we have the best chance of getting them off the field. We can't be giving them short fields. We can't be taking penalties on returns or any of that, right? Or on punts or kickoffs. If we can limit them to long fields and prevent them to having a ton of short fields, it's gonna increase that increase our chances, because that's definitely what we have, a chance. And then if we could get a blocked field goal or a blocked punt, that would be a huge contribution from our special teams. Now, lastly, I want to say that I know that the Vikings, for the Vikings to beat the Lions, we need to be perfect or as close to perfect in all three phases of football. That's a tall task for us, since we are dealing with a ton of injuries, as well as this team is yet to be at full strength in order to develop consistency. So it's going to be a tall task for us to be perfect in all areas, limit penalties, all those things. But you know what they say, any given Sunday, and I would love to see us pull it out and shock the world. But I live and die by probabilities, and it's highly probable that the Lions win this match, and we have a small possibility to shock the world. With all that being said, I think we are capable of scoring anywhere between 12 to 17 points, and the way that we are right now. But I also see the Lions being able to score between 24 and 34 points, if not more, right? So the fan inside me wants to say, we're going to shock the world. We're going to take it to them at Ford Field, and we're going to leave them freaking crippled freaking whatever in the dust in our wake of climbing back to excellence. I'd love to be able to say that, but I have to remain objective for you guys. And That's the way I see it. I see it's most probable for the Lions to come away with this one, somewhere between the on the best side, if we can, if we can control them, but we just can't do enough, maybe the 24-17. But I could very well see this being like a 34-14, 27 to 12, something like that is not outside the realm of possibilities, especially with an 8.5 coming in as 8.5 point favorites into this game. That's why I think that that's what I think is going to happen this weekend. So, like I said, we should be having patience, not expectations, because having expectations when we're starting a rookie, it just is beyond ridiculous in my opinion. But everyone to each their own, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We are on the way to 500 subscribers, and I hope to be there by the end of the year. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. I love every single one of you, even those Lions fans, okay? I just wish you guys would find Jesus, because then maybe you'd find a good team. I'm just trolling. I'll catch you guys later. Take care. What's going on, guys? Hey, I didn't even notice. I get so into it. Hey, thank you so much for freaking joining me. MJ, Bob, Cody, Skull State of Mind, D Woods, King Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Skull Vikings, guys. Have a great